So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining on this podcast. So I have with me CA Karthik Venkatkrishnan. Thank you so much, Karthik, for joining, the Managing Director of Eisner Amper India. For joining us today, we had an excellent session with a lot of questions being exchanged, was done. Karthik being moderator, being expert in the global capability centers, in terms of the work which has been done in the Eisner Amper, not just in Mumbai but across the country, the number of talent pool, the initiative which this entity has taken from US to India and now growing in India and taking the pool of talent, chartered accountants which are now available in India and giving opportunities to fresh chartered accountants, creating opportunities for themselves in an area which is completely new area, the global capability centers which are now being created in India, almost 1800 plus now we have, leading in numbers going up to 2,500 by 2030. So thank you so much, Karthik, for joining. It's always a privilege to have you once again here. And Karthik, we had so much discussion in the morning. I think we spoke about a lot of things. We talk about technology, trust, we talk about talent. I think it all been so much been spoken, but I think in every word or every discussion which was done was much relevant in terms of the how you talk about a GCC, you talk about a practicing chartered accountant, or you talk about any practicing CAs who's want to have a setup, how he can grow in his practice. So just quick on the points which we had discussed, and then if the members would like to know that how can CAs leverage their technical skills to drive leadership in GCCs.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for this opportunity. I think it's a wonderful event, and being here in Hyderabad over the 2 days, it has been wonderful learning, and I think meeting new people and having a lot of networking. Coming to the question, Abhijit, I think in terms of how can CAs leverage, I think the technical expertise that we bring, I think is a foundation on which we can build a lot more. The technical competency that we have as chartered accountants builds us a solid foundation, but that's not going to be enough. We'll have to build layers on top of that. One of the aspects that I would say is, especially what we're doing here, is going out in the market, networking, building your networking skills, building your relationships with people across the globe, people within the same industry in your own town and in your own locations. But leveraging all of those and building on those and having, I would say, building relationships with people across the globe, getting into communities which are focusing on the similar areas, that will help them take it up from having the technical competency, but then being able to go and source business, being able to develop a practice at the end of the day.
No, absolutely. I think, Karthik, you mentioned about networking, you mentioned about collaboration. I think that's one thing which, now it's been a very important initiative of ICI that we started with a committee, which is Committee on Aggregation of Firms. Now, where we are, ensuring that we have the pool of talent which is available, we have the technical expertise, but definitely it's confined to tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities. They are working in silos, they are working as individuals. But now it's the time to aggregate, now it's the time to consolidate and network. I think that's most important. And unless you network, unless you create your own, I would say, a setup or collaborate, you'll not be able to provide the service, the expertise which the client is now looking for. Rightly said, Karthik. Another point, generally has been that what advice would you like to give to CAs for global leadership roles?
There's I think first thing I want to say is the opportunity. I think there's a massive opportunity for global leadership roles that we can take up in India. We already have the financial grounding in terms of our competencies and our technical skills and presentation skills. We may have a lot of knowledge, we may possess a lot of knowledge, we may have a lot of data, but if you're not able to kind of translate that and narrate a story and narrate what they really mean, and if you don't have those presentation and communication skills, it's very difficult to be a leader, because from a leadership perspective, you need to have influence. And for having that influence, you need to be able to narrate a story. So having very, very strong, amongst a host of other skills and other attributes, you need to have strong presentation and communication skills and being able to connect with people. I think that's a very important aspect, and like in everything comes with practice. You have to keep constantly working on it, keep practicing it to get better at it. I think those would be a great opportunity if you're able to develop and hone those skills then we can take up, because there is a want and there is a dearth of global leadership across the world. And if you're able to add the technical competency and provide that leadership skills here from India, it's a massive opportunity here.
No, absolutely. I think rightly said. You talk about technical expertise, you talk about the pool of talent which is best available in our country. We are the best accountant, globally known, that a chartered accountant can do and provide all services at any point of time and can adapt to any environment so quickly as compared to other chartered accountants. And I think the other important point you mentioned was the communication skill, and the presentation. I think that is something which every CAs must ensure that, if they're going global, they're going overseas. I believe communication, they have to really work on, rightly said, and presentation. These two are much, much important, and I believe rightly covered, Karthik, by you, that communication, presentation is most important for any global leadership role which any chartered accountant has to play. So quick on one more aspect, how is the role of CAs changing in multinational organizations? So any thought on this?
I think it is evolving, and I would say we are the ones who are setting the tone itself. People look at us in the past for providing data, providing reporting, providing audit reports, tax forms. But slowly, I think that evolution has occurred, and I think it's happening right now, where we are taking center stage. We are looking at what you need to focus on from a board perspective. What are the areas that the business is doing well? What are the areas the business needs to focus? I think I would say gaining insights into the business and being able to narrate and tie the story between what the numbers are saying and where you want the business to head. I think having I would say a wholesome or a holistic perspective of the business is what I think we are doing right now. A chartered accountant as finance, I would say, is both happening. At the same time, I think further opportunity for us to double down on those and being able to be the leaders who are making the change for the organization, not only for the offices or the entities here in India, but across the globe, driving global strategy.
No, absolutely. I think, and I would just add to what you said is, when you say we are a complete business solution provider,
Absolutely.
I think that is where CAs are known for, and Karthik very well covered, why this is important and where the role of CAs is changing in multinational organizations. So, going forward, or maybe with the data now which is available, and since you have been into this business for a few years. So can you share an example of a strategic, maybe a CA leading a major strategic, initiative successfully, if you can share comfortably?
I would love to share about, one of there are a lot of people who are doing a lot of great things, and, I may not know them at a very, very personal level to be able to, kind of go into the final details, but there's definitely one individual who's one of the initiatives that we had done. There's so many chartered accountants who are in the industry. But very few of them actually get involved in a very active manner within what ICAI is doing and the various committees in ICAI are working on. So one of the initiatives that he had taken up, and this was his initiative, and of course the firm had backed him up, was for him to run for actually the SIRC elections.
Okay.
So he wanted to be an instrument of change. The reason behind running for the elections was, can there be a representative from the industry within the ICAI, various committees within the ICAI framework, who can then necessitate change, bring about awareness, and kind of bridge the gap between what the industry and what the members are looking at, and what ICAI is looking at, and what the industry has to offer on the other side. So that is one of the key initiatives that he's been actively involved, continues to be involved with the SIRC and the various initiatives of both the Hyderabad chapter and the overall ICAI chapter as well. So that is one of the initiatives that I think is a great, is a great way of bridging that gap.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you so much. And so that was CA Karthik Venkat Krishnan, so Managing Director, Eisner-Samper India. Thank you so much, Karthik, for being here on a wonderful discussion, interaction. All, I think the experience which Karthik has all been shared among all the members, the listeners, the viewers. And thank you so much for joining, and hope to see you soon at some of the major events of ICAI. Thank
Absolutely
you.
My pleasure, Abhay, and this was a wonderful opportunity, and I loved all the interactions. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining.